The landmark Paris deal could mark the beginning of the end for dependence on fossil fuels. This will be a significant challenge for developing countries like China, which have relied on oil and coal for economic growth. Tang Bo has our story.
L'accord de Paris pour le climat est accepté.
Nearly 2 weeks of talks and more than 2 decades of meetings. More than 190 countries make a universal deal to address climate change. The Paris Agreement embodies the broadest consensus and is the product of arduous efforts from heads of state, ministers, and negotiators of all nations.
China has played an important role in helping all meeting participants reach the agreement. Before the summit, China and the U.S. issued joint statements on climate change twice. And China also submitted its intended nationally determined contributions to the UN Convention on Climate Change.
Nearly all the participating countries submitted pledges on how much they would reduce their carbon emissions by 2030. China committed to peak its emissions by 2030 and to lower its emissions per unit of GDP by 60 to 65%. That means there's a huge demand for renewable energy in the country going forward, but the switch is by no means straightforward.
China relies a lot on fossil fuels for its growth, but efforts have been made for new energy development. Around 58% of the increase in China's primary energy consumption in the last 2 years has come from non-fossil fuel sources. There will be big sacrifices when readjusting China's industrial and energy structure, but that's something we have to do.
Experts say the final deal succeeds in striking a middle ground, which allows for a country's responsibilities towards climate change to evolve in parallel with its capabilities. Now, there's no strict fire war between rich and poor nations. For the first time, under the new pact, all countries, including China, will commit as one to fight global warming. Tang Bo, CCTV, Beijing.